Welcome to Cosmic Eternity Channel. Have you ever wondered why your life feels like a battlefield? Not just the usual kind of hard days, but that constant sense that everything you try to build faces resistance. That while others seem to glide through life, doors open for them effortlessly. You have to fight twice as hard, sometimes 3 times, and even then, it feels as if the universe keeps testing you. Maybe you've asked yourself, what did I do wrong? Why does everything have to be so complicated for me? But what if I told you nothing is wrong with you at all? What if the chaos, the exhaustion, the endless challenges are actually signs, proof that there's something rare and extraordinary about you? Most people drift through life without ever questioning why they exist. They wake up, go to work, laugh a little, scroll through their phones, sleep and repeat. But you can't just exist like that. You feel more deeply. You sense that there's something greater pulling you, something unseen yet powerful. And that weight you carry, the invisible burden you can't explain, isn't a curse. It's a calling. I know it's exhausting. You keep wondering why every time life starts to make sense, something breaks again. Why do peace and pain seem to come in the same package? It's not bad luck. It's not punishment. There's a reason behind all of this. And that reason has less to do with what you do and everything to do with who you are. So I want you to stay with me until the very end of this message, because what I'm about to reveal might completely change the way you see your life. You might realize that the very storms you're trying to escape are actually shaping you into the person you were always meant to become. Now tell me honestly, have you ever felt different? Deep down, have you always known that you don't quite fit in with the rest? If you have, write it down below. I am different. I want to see how many others out there feel the same call. And if this message resonates with you, make sure to subscribe and share it, because there are people out there who need to hear this too. That feeling of not belonging, it's one of the clearest signs that you carry something uncommon within you. Maybe since childhood you've sensed it. While others seemed carefree, you felt like an observer, watching, analyzing, asking questions no one else dared to ask. You didn't just play, you wondered. You didn't just follow trends, you searched for meaning. And as you grew older, that feeling didn't disappear, it deepened. When everyone else was trying to fit into groups, you were quietly realizing you never would. You could talk, smile, and socialize, but inside, there was a quiet loneliness. Not the loneliness of being alone, but the kind that comes from being unseen, misunderstood. That invisible distance between you and the world is not a defect, it's evidence of depth. Your soul knows it wasn't meant to dissolve into the crowd. You were made to walk a path few can even recognize, let alone follow. But there's a cost to that. Being different means being misunderstood. People will call you strange, complicated, too intense. They'll tell you that you overthink, that you make life harder than it needs to be. And those words hurt, don't they? Because behind them is the unspoken message that you should be someone else. But what makes you different is exactly what makes you essential. You're tuned to a different rhythm. While everyone else dances to one song, you hear another, and that's why you sometimes feel out of sync. But listen carefully. Feeling out of place doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're being prepared. Every disappointment, every rejection, every closed door is shaping you, forging your strength, carving your purpose. For people like you, life is never gentle. It's filled with moments that test your patience, your faith, your courage. But those tests aren't punishments, they're training. You're being refined like gold through fire. You see, others call it misfortune, but for those who carry a higher calling, every struggle holds a lesson. Each fall teaches resilience. Each heartbreak expands compassion. Each loss forces growth. No one tells you that in the beginning. So you feel lost, defeated, even betrayed by life. But underneath all that pain, something magnificent is unfolding. You're becoming aware, stronger, wiser, aligned with who you truly are. That's why your journey feels so intense, because it is. The higher your purpose, the heavier your preparation. While others walk an easy, steady road, yours is filled with sharp turns and steep climbs. But it's not to break you, it's to build you. Every hardship is like the sculptor's chisel striking at the stone. It hurts. It feels violent, but each strike reveals more of your true form. When you look back one day, you'll understand that the pain wasn't destruction, it was creation. Being chosen doesn't mean having an easy life. It means your life has meaning that stretches beyond yourself. Every trial, every scar, every sleepless night, it's all part of the process of shaping you into someone who can carry light where others see only darkness. So no, your life isn't cursed. It's sacred. Every battle you've fought, every tear you've shed is proof that you're being prepared for something extraordinary. I truly believe that every struggle we face has meaning, even when it feels impossible to see it in the moment. Life doesn't test us to break us, it shapes us into who we're meant to be. I've realized that being different isn't a flaw, it's a kind of spiritual strength that not everyone carries. Those who feel out of place, who face constant battles and deep emotions, are often the ones chosen to grow, to evolve, and to guide others through their own pain. To me, the hardest seasons are not punishments, they're preparation. The universe uses challenges as tools to refine our character and awaken our purpose. That's why I no longer see my difficulties as signs of failure, but as proof that I'm walking a path that requires courage, patience, and faith. If life feels heavy, it's not because we're weak, it's because we're being trained for something greater. And I truly believe that one day, all the pain will make sense when we finally see what it was preparing us to become. There's something inside you, a quiet pull, a voice that doesn't shout but insists. You may not know its name yet, but it's there, waiting to be understood. It's not a random urge or a passing dream. It's a calling, a purpose that reveals itself only through time, through trials, through the painful process of endurance and growth. That's why the suffering of those who are chosen is never meaningless. Pain becomes the tool that awakens what's buried deepest within you. It forces you to evolve, to look inward, to discover strengths and gifts you never realized you had. And slowly, through that fire, you begin to walk toward your true path. Even now, when everything feels uncertain or heavy, remember this: nothing you're living through is wasted. Every night that feels endless, every challenge that feels unfair, every tear that falls unseen, they all serve a purpose. There's an invisible force guiding you through the chaos, aligning each experience to prepare you for something greater than you can yet comprehend. After endless battles and sleepless nights, there comes a moment when pain begins to shift. It no longer feels like punishment, it starts to become clarity. That's when the awakening begins. Spiritual awakening rarely happens in a single moment of revelation. It unfolds quietly, through small moments that seem ordinary at first, but carry profound meaning once you look closer. It's as if, after all the storms, a faint light begins to rise within you. You start to see the patterns behind your experiences. You realize that nothing was in vain. What once felt unfair now looks like guidance. Every heartbreak, every loss, every lonely night, all of it was shaping something powerful inside you. Awareness, resilience, and vision. And then you understand, life was never meant to be easy. The challenges were never curses, they were invitations to grow. Every trial was a lesson disguised as pain, preparing you for something you were born to do. With awakening comes connection. Suddenly, everything begins to feel linked: people, moments, even hardships. You sense a deeper rhythm behind existence. You start to see that your pain is not only your own, it's part of a larger transformation that few ever experience. Spiritual awakening isn't about escaping suffering, it's about realizing its purpose. It's the moment you stop running from pain and start learning from it. You begin to recognize yourself as someone who's being prepared for a mission far greater than your own comfort or understanding. And as you evolve, you discover others walking the same invisible path, souls who feel, struggle, and rise just like you. If you've followed this far, maybe something inside you is starting to recognize the truth. Those heavy emotions, those endless tests, that feeling of being different, they might be signs that you're one of the chosen ones. But how can you be sure? There are subtle signs that point toward it. The first is emotional depth. You feel everything intensely. Words that seem harmless to others can cut you deeply. Injustice disturbs you on a level you can't explain. That isn't weakness, it's a reflection of your heightened awareness. The second is intuition. You often know before things happen. You can sense when something is off, even without clear evidence. That quiet knowing is a compass guiding you toward your destiny. The third sign is empathy. You absorb the emotions of others as if they were your own. You hurt when they hurt and you rejoice when they heal. That empathy is not an accident, it's part of your purpose to heal, guide, and inspire. The fourth sign is inner solitude. You can be surrounded by people and still feel alone, not because you're disconnected, but because you belong to a different frequency. The world around you may not yet understand what you're connected to. And the fifth sign is the sense of mission. Even without knowing exactly what it is, you feel drawn toward something bigger, a need to change lives, create impact, leave a mark. There's a whisper inside you that says, you were made for more. If you recognize yourself in several of these signs, understand this, it's not a coincidence. You're part of a rare group of people who are being shaped for extraordinary purpose. Your challenges are not punishments, they're preparation. Your pain is not meaningless, it's sacred training. To be chosen doesn't mean your path will be easy. It means every experience, every joy and heartbreak is shaping you for something that will matter deeply. Recognizing that truth is the first step toward embracing who you really are. Then comes the turning point, the moment when everything begins to make sense. It's not dramatic, it's subtle but powerful. It's when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what for? That single change in perspective transforms everything. Suddenly your suffering becomes your teacher, your obstacles become opportunities. What once felt like chaos begins to reveal purpose. You realize that your journey was never about merely surviving, it was about transforming. Every fall, every struggle was forging your strength, even when you couldn't see it. That's the moment your story shifts. The pain doesn't vanish, but your relationship with it changes. You begin to see that life isn't working against you, it's shaping you. The weight that once crushed you becomes the very force that lifts you. And then you finally understand. Your life was never falling apart, it was being rebuilt. Every scar, every loss, every tear has been preparing you to become the person you were always meant to be. So take a deep breath, look within. Everything you've endured has purpose. You're not ordinary, you're chosen. And the fire you've walked through wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal your light. After reflecting deeply on everything said, I've come to see that what I once called suffering was never punishment, it was preparation. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every season of confusion was actually shaping my spirit and aligning me with something far greater than I could understand at the time. I realize now that the moments I felt most lost were the same moments I was being guided. The silence I once feared was not emptiness, it was the space where transformation began. I've learned that pain isn't my enemy. It's a sacred messenger, revealing strength, faith, and wisdom that were hidden inside me all along. This journey has shown me that awakening is not sudden, it's a slow unveiling, a return to the truth of who I really am. I no longer see myself as a victim of life's chaos. but as a participant in a divine process. And even when I don't have all the answers, I trust that everything unfolds with purpose. To me, this is what it means to be chosen not to live without pain, but to find meaning within it, to rise again and again, carrying light into the very darkness that once tried to break me.